Hi, thank you for joining us. My name is Peter Rodenberg. I'm the Assistant Director here at Kutztown University, and this is going to be our second episode of KU Success Stories. So I have my good friend, former GA, Aaron Springer. He was a undergrad student here, a grad student here, and now you are working here at KU. So now we're friends and colleagues, right? So he's gone full circle, and that's pretty cool. So I was really excited to reach out to Aaron, and when he agreed to do this and for me to pick his brain and ask some questions, I was really thrilled. So thank you for joining us. Let's just dive in. First of all, who are you? Where are you from? What are you doing?
Okay, so first of all, thanks again for having me. Really super excited for this opportunity. But yeah, my name is Aaron. I am from the Bahamas. Currently 25 years old. Like you said, I came up in 2018. It was a great experience. Yeah, it's been quite a while, right?
Okay, good stuff, man. So before we jump on to your undergrad experience, what advice would you give incoming international students preparing to go to KU? So like what we're talking about, so they're in their bedroom right now in Bahamas or Pakistan or Argentina, and they're like, man, we are coming in the spring semester. We've got a few months. What would you say to them?
Definitely ask questions. Ask a lot of questions and do a lot of research about Kutztown, and get in touch with the different colleges that you're going to be involved with. So like me, I was really interested in the music at the time. I actually switched my major later on, but when I was a music major, I was looking into the different professors. Like I said, I was talking with Dr. Justison before I was even a student. I was still applying. You didn't even accept me yet. And he was giving me so much additional information, giving me some insight on some funding opportunities for me as a student too, because you have to look into the colleges, because colleges themselves have different sorts of funds that they can possibly give to you. But you won't know unless you ask.
You won't know unless you ask.
So that's what I did. I asked a lot of questions to him, and because the international office might have some, he might have some, and if he doesn't have some, he can probably point you in the right direction to somebody who has it. But doing that too, also reaching out locally to different areas. Like I got a government scholarship.
In the Bahamas?
Yep, in the Bahamas. I applied for it, and I followed up with the people back at home too to make sure that they're still viewing my application and stuff like that. I'm always on it. It's like if I'm going to a job and I haven't heard from the job in 4 days after applying and stuff, I'm reaching out. Did you see my application? Is there any additional information you need? Because I want this to work out, they want that. And I think, it can be slightly annoying, but also it's like, okay, he's taking initiative. He really wants to be here, so, we'll do what we can. But yeah, really just doing that research, getting excited, and just looking at the different opportunities, things, clubs, organizations that you want to be a part of. Even looking beyond the local and the university scholarships. There's grants out there that you might qualify for. You just have to look, different scholarships too. I remember too, I wanted to probably run track out here as well, join the track team. That didn't work out the way I wanted it to, but I was going to do a walk-on, because I had some times that was similar to the times that they were running at the time. But yeah, reaching out to different sports teams, seeing if there's positions, what do you need to do, and then you can just start getting yourself prepared. So just really asking questions.
Asking questions.
Yeah.
I'm thrilled to hear that our faculty gave you individual attention even before you were an applicant.
Yeah.
That's great. That's what Kutztown can offer you, is individual attention. Touch a little bit on your undergrad. So you came here, you came in as now you mentioned audio production or something as a minor. What was your major?
It was commercial music at the time. Commercial music,
okay. Yeah. And for some reason, you're asking track teams for stuff. I only run when I'm chased. So you got into music programs, right? So you came in. Why music?
Love music. I've been doing music all my life. I used to play what's it called, little drum, in like a drumming line back in like primary school. We could say primary school, you probably say elementary, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, primary school, played the sax, you know, for many years. I just wanted to excel in that area. I mean, I still make music now too. If you want to check out my stuff, it's under Luke Nora. Luke is my middle name and Nora is Aaron backwards, so Noria. Check me out on all streaming platforms. You know, always gotta give myself a little shout out. But yeah, that's why I wanted to initially do music too. And I think I learned so much from my professors. I eventually switched over to marketing because I wanted to do more of like starting my own sort of artistry as well. So marketing allows me to do that, and it also opened up different opportunities to get into the business realm of things, you know, which I think really helped me to get to where I am today, make myself much more of a qualified person. I can place myself in different areas, you know, with just that degree.
So you came in as a music student,
Mm-hmm.
but you changed your major.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of our viewers, a lot of students out there don't know that's an option. In the United States, you can do that. We're looking at someone who just did.
Yep.
He came in as a music student. You're like, you know what? This is cool. But I have a musical background.
Mm-hmm.
How do I sell myself?
Yep, exactly. And that's,
how do I sell myself as the artist?
Yeah. And I'm still learning that too. It's
Right.
always a learning process. You learn in college, after college, you know. What's interesting too is I remember when I was doing the whole program, I was hearing, oh, you probably shouldn't switch because it's going to set you back. Actually, me switching my majors helped me graduate a whole semester early because, you know, being a music major, you take so many classes, and I was also doing my gen eds. By the time I was ready to switch, all of my stuff went over to like the required courses that I need, and I was like, oh wow, they're like, Aaron, you can graduate a whole semester early. So it helped.
Sure, where do I sign?
Yeah. So don't be afraid to do it. I mean, you know, it's always by a case scenario, but definitely just, again, look to see the options, you know. I was always on my, my academic sheet. Like every time I complete a class, I'd tick it off, and I would be following that like every time, making sure I'm like staying on track. And my advisor we'd have like 5-minute meetings because he's like, oh, Aaron, you already have this already.
You already know everything.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, I just wanted to make sure you're good. You know, if you're good, then I'm good. Ready to go.
You're checking on the advisor, not the advisor checking on you. Any of them that like really jump out in your mind?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, aside from Dr. Justice, and he was awesome, you know, really animated person. But I liked Dr. Masad. I don't think he's still here. Victor Masad. We did a personal sales class. It's understanding how to sell yourself and not be sold, if that makes sense.
Sell yourself and not be sold.
Yeah,
okay.
Not be sold. So understanding like different sales tactics, you know, and also how to present yourself if you're trying to sell something. He also helped us read this book called Think and Grow Rich, and that really changed my perspective on a lot of things too. I think he went beyond just being a professor in that class. And it helped me, you know, because I did different jobs after I graduated. Under my OPT, I was a door-to-door internet salesman, and some of those things that I've learned, you know, it helped me in that position. So, you know, I think he gave me some really cool advice that, you know, definitely helped me get to where I am today. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Building that network.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
All right. Okay, how did you get involved in campus life? Right. So you're from the Bahamas. You came up here. You're all excited, all this stuff to do, but you don't know anybody.
Yeah.
So. But I know you now, and every time you and I are outside, somebody knows you.
Yeah.
How did you do all that?
Oof. I mean, when you ask me, like in the grand scheme of things, I don't even know.
You don't know?
But I mean, it all boils down to just getting involved. I remember
Well, but see, getting involved. Yeah, we can all say.
You can all say,
But how did you? What did you do?
Well, I just looked online, see what they had out there, ask questions too. Like I said, I was a little less shy. You know, now I'm just more like, I won't just approach a random person like I would have, because I'm not gonna, you know, I'm not like, hey, what's the US, you know? But I would ask questions. I think someone told me, go to the MCC, they probably have some cool things out there. I just walked into the MCC one day, and they just talked to me like they knew me already. You know, they heard my accent, they were like, where are you from? You from the Caribbean? I was like, yeah, the Bahamas. And I met a few of them, super cool. One of them now he's like a big brother to me. He's graduated, you know, before I did, but just through there, MCC, open opportunities to different, like, because the MCC has different clubs and organizations that come through. Like BSU would come through, Ames would come through. I actually was there when Ames first started. That got me connected with different faculty too, getting closer to them. You know, they pointed me in direction. So it's like planting a seed. You know, it's gonna sprout and give you all these different opportunities and networks and connections. So, you know, I right place, right time, I guess, but also like digging. Because if you really want to get involved, you will get involved. And then, you know, at the same time too, it's beyond just the university. Like my roommate, I was really lucky with my roommate. He is basically my best friend now. We got into the same dorm. We liked the same music, a lot of different interests and stuff. Now his family, like my family, some of his friends from home, like my brothers now too. So, you know, I have connections beyond just the university, and it just keeps growing and growing. You know, just having conversations with people, you know, being open-minded, stuff like that. And, you know, getting involved.
And the thing I'm hearing the most too is you have been and continue to be proactive in whatever it is you do.
Yeah.
I mean, you're over there calling about, you know, you're calling about scholarships. You're calling about track team. I don't know why. I still don't understand why anybody would run a track. but you know, whatever. Teach their own.
Yeah.
But you know, you're reaching out to people. You're going out and see. You walked into the MCC. You didn't look at it. Go, wonder what you know. You went in like, I'm gonna go see what this is.
Yeah.
Right. And so the lesson I heard here is. You gotta make it happen, or it's not gonna happen. No one else is gonna do it for you.
Exactly. If you really want it, just
if you really want it, go get it. Go take it.
It sounds easier than it is, but I mean, it doesn't even mean like just take a whole jump. Just baby steps. I mean, like just pop in there and pop in the MCC and see what's going on. And maybe it won't work out that day. Come back another day. Right. And having an event, people are just gonna walk up to you and just it all just works out.
Nice.
So I mean that's how and also like doing different things around campus. There's multiple different events and stuff they have all the time. And I meet so many people, like the involvement fan stuff, they show you everything you could possibly do. I remember I would just go to the gym and play basketball, and I'd play basketball at a certain time every day, and I'd see the same people.
Right.
That's a group right there.
Right.
Before you even know it, then they're like, you free Friday? You want to come hang out or something?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, shoot.
Yeah.
That's just how it happens.
Yeah.
So
putting yourself out there.
Yeah, really.
What was your biggest challenge as an undergrad? As an international undergrad student? Like what was you've talked a lot about the positive stuff and the stuff that you by saying yes and putting yourself out there and all that, you really built that social base.
Yeah.
That is your base now.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that you were planting those seeds in that level, right? But what were some of the challenges, more immediate challenges at that time that maybe had you scratching your head, or maybe had you thinking like, oh my God, I made a mistake?
Yeah.
Or,
I think it's definitely like, again, there's two things. First is like the social aspect of things. I mean, it's a PWI, predominantly white institution, so you definitely won't see as many people as the same color as you that you probably would have expected. But I knew what I was kind of stepping into. But it is, you're not hearing Bahamian accents around the corner. People aren't going to be as friendly as they always are. So there's going to be that. There's going to be people asking you, ignorant questions. But that's what you see anywhere you go.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
It's just, I had to just kind of get used to it in some way. Also, you might look like somebody, but you definitely don't have the same background as them. But a lot of people just see, okay, that's how you look, that's who you are. They just classify you as like an African American person when they don't know about your Caribbean background. And you would open your mouth and speak, and they'd be like, "Oh, are you British? Where's this coming from?" So I got that so much. But it's like identity crisis is something you go through at that time. And also, I was like 18. I'm still figuring myself out.
100%.
100%. And I mean, I took a step out. This is like a point in my life where I was really growing into the person I am today. 18 to 25. I haven't thought about that. Those are like prime years. And when I first left, my mother was super like, she wanted me to be very presentable. She didn't want me to have long hair, no piercings, tattoos, and kind of look
What happened there?
What happened there? When I first came up, I remember the first thing I did, hair's pierced. I let my hair grow. I started doing all these different things, and I was feeling like I was letting my mother down a little bit too. But at the end of the day, you just start to realize you just want to grow into the person you want to be.
Yeah.
And I didn't let any of that stuff affect who I was on the inside. If anything, it made me feel more comfortable. But that's one of the things. I think, you know, not like immediate, but more so like a prolonged experience was like the culture shock and the reverse culture shock. Because then you're here sometimes and then you stay here for a long time and then people are like, I don't really hear that you're from the Bahamas. I don't really hear the accent, you know? And it's like, okay, I mean, I maybe speak a little bit more like you now because I've been here for so long, and then it makes you feel like, am I losing myself? And then you go back home for a little bit, they're like, oh, you sound American now. You know, you're like, oh, shoot, so who am I? Where do I fit in? You know, that's something you just kind of get used to too. You're developing into a whole new person.
One of our students and I, we had a conversation the other day about how when you live or work in another country or culture that's different from yours, you kind of cross into this like special club that others don't quite understand, right? And it's that like, and now to your admission here, what you just said, after 7 or 8 years or something, are you Bahamian? Are you American? What are
American?
you? You're neither.
Yeah.
You're you.
Exactly.
And your style, your preferences, all of those things are you built those up through your experiences in both of those camps, right? And it's a neat thing, but it's also kind of messes with you at times, right? Like you just said, you go home and people are commenting on your accent. You're like, what?
Yeah.
I'm from here, right?
It is, but I think
it is what it is.
That's why I came. I mean, I probably wasn't thinking that like 7 years ago.
No,
like,
you weren't.
But 7 years later, I'm like, oh, I'm really that unique person that I initially came here.
Yeah.
That's why you don't just go to study and get education. You try to learn to become who you are. Like you say, college is some of the best years of your life. I think you told me that the other day.
Right, it was.
You know?
It was mine too. I mean, and that's where you discover who you are.
Exactly, and I mean, you will probably end up speaking a little differently, but you will be way more comfortable in the skin you're in, you know?
Right.
So I'm grateful. I'm grateful for every experience, all the good and the bad, because this is who I am now, and, you know, thankful for that.
And you know that. And all out of all these experiences, no one can ever take those from you. Those are all stored in there and in there for the rest of your life. You went 4 years undergrad here. And then
3.5,
Then you started your graduate program. Right? So tell me about that, because that's interesting. A lot of students don't stick around for a graduate program. Right? Or a graduate program abroad. A lot of students go back home and do their postgrad or so, you know. So how did this work for you?
So like I was saying, I graduated a little early, so it was I took 3.5 years to complete my undergrad, and it was coming down to the ending of my last semester, so it was the winter when I graduated. You know, most of my friends weren't graduating at that time. It felt kind of weird, you know, leaving a lot of people behind, but I remember my music was really starting to do pretty well. I had this one song that I liked, I put it out, and I reached out to one of my favorite artists, sort of like a manager, and he took interest in it, and he said, oh wow, that's really nice, you sound like Usher, this, and I mean, you know, I'm super humble, I'm like, I don't sound like no Usher, but I'm like, yeah, I sound like Usher, but yeah, no, he actually flew me out to LA.
Dance?
I'm very stiff. Usher could, like, you know.
Alright, we'll leave that. Well, let's leave the Usher comparison to the door until I see you dance.
For sure. But yeah, no, so he flew me out to LA, gave me like a tour, showed me all these possibilities, let me record in some studios, like Challenge Studio, where, not Challenge, this is the other one, The Village, I believe, where Dr. Dre recorded a lot of his music too. It was like, wow, I can't believe I'm here. And he's like, all right, now you're graduating pretty soon, you have to come out here and start the grind, you know? And that's when I graduated. I applied for my OPT, moved out to LA, and I used my OPT working with, like I said, the door-to-door sales, you know, internet selling. It was quite the experience, you know. LA is a whole different speed. It's very expensive. I don't think, I mean, now I'm saying I'm happy I went for the experience and to know when I go back it's going to be different. But I didn't think at the time I needed to be there. I felt like it was the worst time of my life. But, you know, it was difficult, you know, and things fell through a little bit. And I either had the choice of, you know, going back home and trying to start things there, because my OPT was going to run up, you know, the following year, and I wasn't seeing any other positions that was, you know, going to be really feasible for me. So I said, you know what, maybe I can go back to school and try to, you know, expand my knowledge a little bit, get some more experience. And I reached out to some of my advisors. One, Dr. McCargo, I don't know which university he works with now, but he was really, really helpful. Helped me network with a few people. I applied for every graduate assistantship on the campus at the time. And I remember I interviewed for one that really stuck out, the Military Veteran Services Office. I knew nothing about the military, you know, at that time, but I met this really nice lady, Miss T. She's currently she's like a mother to me now. She interviewed me. She said, well, Aaron, I'm going to tell you it's going to be tough. Are you ready for it? I said, yeah, I'm ready for it. She was tough. She gave me a lot of tough love, but she helped me, you know, develop even more professional.
You're like, shoot, I made it in LA.
Yeah, I'm like, this is easy. She was probably harder than LA. But no, she's really awesome. You know, and I did student affairs, you know, wanting to leverage my experience as an international student, you know, in, you know, academics and helping other students get some opportunities like I did. And, you know, I ended up coming back, doing another 2 years, and during those 2 years, I grew even more. During those 2 years, I met the love of my life, you know, and here we are today, you know, with my puppy, the three of us, and things are just moving on, you know, things and opportunities are opening up in almost every area of my life that...
He's got a puppy now. It's
official.
I
got a puppy now.
It's official.
That was the one thing. Also, yeah, I got my wife too. No, the three of us, we a crazy team. She's awesome.
Yeah.
She really helped me become so much. And it's like, when you meet somebody like that, you know, you never expect the opportunities that will come. It just makes me so grateful that I came to the U.S. and look at all these blessings I've been getting. So, you know, it's just... things took a turn in a way I didn't expect, but it was the best turn it could have taken. So I'm excited for the opportunities that are to come, you know.
Yeah. So your graduate program was student affairs.
Yes.
So that's quite different from marketing.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It is different from marketing, but in some ways it kind of applies to marketing, especially with me working in admissions, you know, having that background of knowing how to, I guess, kind of sell a product and also, well, go beyond selling a product. Talking about why it's important for the person you're trying to give it to or sell it to was huge, and that's what I did in admissions. I worked at Moravian University for a little bit, and both that background in student affairs and marketing helped me immensely in that. And with my current position in the SBDC, having like the marketing background can help my clients who are trying to start their small business. You know, they are struggling in different areas with marketing, digital media, all this stuff, but having that background and also having a student affairs background where I work with students in the college, we're doing all this stuff, it met everything in the middle. So
yeah,
that way it works out.
Funny how that all works, right?
It didn't make any sense how much it worked
and you didn't plan on it.
No, didn't. Not at all. I just had a friend that said, Aaron, you should apply for this position.
Yeah.
I think you'd be good for it. And I applied for it, and they interviewed me, and I got hired, and I was like, oh, shoot, nice.
And that's what we're all doing. We're all taking the experiences we learned in school and in life and just trying to apply it in what we do.
Yep.
Right? And you're I don't know if you realized it until you say it out loud.
Yeah.
But then when you say it out loud, you're like, oh yeah. Yeah, that's what I did.
Look at that.
Now you were a GA.
Yeah.
At the veterans.
Yeah.
Right? But then you worked in our office as a student worker.
Yep. Intern, student worker, graduate intern was what my
graduate
was.
intern.
Yeah.
Okay. I was wondering about that. As you were saying that, I was like, I know you worked both, but that's when I just started.
Yeah.
And then you graduated like a month later?
Yeah.
Or 2 months later.
I couldn't take much of this guy.
Just like, you know what? I'm going to graduate.
Yeah.
I'm calling it right now.
Putting my foot down.
I was going to stick around another year, but nah. Well, I'm glad I could help out.
Thank you. You helped my
It's motivation in one way or another. So as a grad student now, because it's different, right? You've already spent 4 years as an undergrad, and at the same school, which I did the same thing. I was an undergrad and a grad student at the same school, but I wasn't an international student. You talked a little bit about the support and stuff, but like, as a grad student, what support did you get from the university? I mean, what? Because for me, grad school and undergrad were completely different for me.
Yeah.
One I didn't really care about so much, to be honest. The other was really hard, and I really applied myself.
Yes.
So like, I needed assistance.
Yeah.
Like to do. I'm not a smart guy. I needed help. What did you do as a grad student? Is there anyone in particular, any groups or people or anyone that really kind of helped, kick you down the road? Or?
Yeah, I think everybody in my circle helped. I mean, from classmates to professors to different people on the campus. Classmates, they had different opportunities on like colleges and stuff. They would give me advice, and it was cool because during class time, everybody, especially now coming on to the ending of, of graduation, people were like, oh, I just got this application. Oh, I got accepted for this position, and everybody's getting a job. Right. And I was like, I was one of the middle people to get it. So in the beginning, I'm like, am I gonna get a job? Yeah. Especially as an international student, like, is it gonna work out? Yeah. And I got something, and it wasn't just because of myself, but everybody was encouraging. Right. I would talk to my professor a lot, and she would be the best. Well, both of them, Dr. Hyde and Dr. Elliott. Really great professors. I also networked even further. At the time, I think I forget the position. I think it's student representative. Dr. Nurse was his name. I worked with him for a lot. He was really encouraging. Dr. Shapiris was awesome. And then Christina and Peter came through, and really reformed the international program. Really did. I think just networking with so many people helped. Being in a whole different phase of schooling, it wasn't like it was very unfamiliar, but it just kind of amplified a little bit more. Like the connections were deeper, and it was quicker to get like assistance from people because I just knew what I need to say, kind of who would be the right person to reach out to.
You learned the academic culture.
Yes, exactly.
Of the United States, but of a higher institution.
Yep, exactly. Learn how to use LinkedIn better, because you need that. But yeah, I developed so many deeper connections. I was even more outgoing than I was before in undergrad. I went out more. I hung out with people more. I was just networking with even other students, and it just really opened up my my network. Yeah, I keep using that word, but
because it's important.
it's very important, very important.
And that's the truth. Is that none of us can get from point A to point B on our own.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, maybe you can, but it's going to take you a lifetime to do it.
Yeah, you have to put yourself.
I haven't met anyone yet.
Yeah,
that's gone from A to B on their own.
Yeah,
it's like you got to build that network to really make the most out of any situation, and that's your common theme here. I don't know if you realize it or not, but every answer you're giving, almost every answer, it comes back to that.
Yeah, and it's funny. People told me like networking is huge and stuff, and you just hear it. It's like, okay, everybody's saying it one ear out the next. I'm like, whatever. But now I'm doing it. I'm like, oh my goodness, you just need to know one person who has a myriad of connections, and you are set.
The dominoes will fall.
Exactly. Yeah. So just you have to go and chase that. You have to chase it. I think, like I said, if I didn't connect with that guy who's the, manager for one of my favorite artists, I would have never improved my music. I would have never tried to blend like Bahamian stuff with some American pop music and stuff and create something new, And that's just one piece. There's so many different things about myself that's just grown because I just networked, and so many people just help you and are willing to help you too, Yeah, but
and I find that to be the case. Most people want to help. I mean, if they're approached, Americans take pride in that. Like, oh man, you need to connect with somebody? I can do that for you. I know that. I just did it before I came here. A student came in and asked for resources. I was like, oh, I know exactly who to put you in touch with. I gotta go interview this guy, but let me come back. And, that's how the world works. A million questions I could ask you about all this stuff, but we do have time limits here, and we are borrowing a classroom from someone. But came as a high school student in Bahamas, did your undergrad here in music, and then changed to marketing. But you kept that music stuff in your social life, and I know that's the first thing you and I talked about when I met you.
I remember we sat down for a while.
I sat in your office, and I was like, so what's up with you? And like, next thing you know, we're talking about music. Well, here's what I did. And then you're like, well, here's what I did. And like, that was the rest
of your albums on my way home.
That was the rest of our afternoon, as I recall. So after grad school now it's like, put up or shut up. You've learned all this stuff. And now, I mean, I know you went to Alvernia.
Moravian.
Sorry, I always get those two mixed up. You went to Moravian for a minute, and I was just thrilled. I was thrilled when I found out you were coming back here. Because you were like the first person I met, and we got a lot in common. And I was like, man, that's so cool. Aaron's coming back, and now you're working at the SBDC, which is the Small Business Development Center.
You got it.
Here at KU. So, how did that happen? Tell us a little bit about that. that story.
Yeah, so I was in the current position again with Moravian, and I was using my OPT at the time. You know, the student affairs was my focus. And with being on the OPT, you have a limited time. You have 1 year of, working in the US. Yeah, and I wanted a position that would extend beyond the OPT, and I got a friend who, and I was applied to like maybe 100 jobs, just trying to find something that's sponsored.
Right,
something
that,
yeah, and a little more like aligning with what I wanted. And the SBDC was recommended to me by one of my friends right back in Kutztown. So that was, really helpful because I was still living in Kutztown at the time too. And they sponsored, and I interviewed, and I heard more about the position. And I was like, oh, I could definitely do this. I could see myself doing it. And it's like a pretty dynamic position too. You never know what's going to come every day. So it keeps me on my toes.
Good feeling.
You won't get bored.
Yeah.
Applied, got it, and here I am working also with an H-1B visa too. And again, all from networking. All from building a connection, from someone just knowing me and saying, Aaron, I think you'd be good for this. So, that's how it all kind of worked out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And now I see you every day at work.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and it's funny now when we're driving into work.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like my wife will be like, "Is that Aaron? I think he drives a car like that."
Yeah, to be flying.
And like we're like, wait, I think so. But they're going too slow to be Aaron. That can't be Aaron. But hey, so thank you so much for joining us. I know we took a lot of time and we didn't talk a whole lot about your work experience, but we did get there, and that's the end game. And the work, you don't have much to say yet. You're still learning it. You're still getting on it.
Yep.
But I totally appreciate you speaking with us today. I hope the folks out there appreciate it. They can see that an international student can do a lot of things.
Yep.
And really can make a amazing adventure that can last a lifetime.
Yep. No limits.
Right?
Yep.
So one quick thing you'd like to share about Kutztown, or do you have any advice for anybody before we close it up?
Just don't be afraid to try new things and be yourself. I think, people are going to appreciate the authenticity of you. Some people are going to be a little weird and say, oh, your food smells stink and your accent is weird, but, that's just them. They're still trying to figure themselves out. Just be yourself, have fun, and take those leaps of faith, because you never know, things will work out. And don't be afraid to fail. And all the other cliche stuff, but it's true.
Right. It's not a mistake if you learn from it.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. We're gonna do this again, hopefully next month or so. Keep your eyes on our socials and stuff, and we're gonna talk to more alums and hear their story. We got alums all over the world. Everybody has a different story, but it's also kind of similar in a lot of ways.
Yep.
So thanks again, and we'll see you next time.